So I just wanted to do a little introduction to our new YouTube channel. It's the No Pete Podcast on all socials now, so by here, go and follow them. This is going to be our usual thing now, so every Monday on all streaming platforms, Spotify, you've got Apple Music, or Apple Podcasts should I say, Google. This is episode 6, but previous episodes didn't get recorded, so this is technically episode 1 on the YouTube, but actually episode 6. So if you want to go and listen to the previous episodes, I'll leave a little link down by here somewhere, I don't even know. So yeah, safe, this is me, Tom, and Spud says safe.
Yeah, boom.
Episode 6 of the No Pete Podcast.
Ooh, chill.
And guess
Vibes.
what? We got a camera!
Yeah, I'm gonna forget that thing.
Oh,
Ooh, camera vibes.
Ooh.
Parched.
Ooh. So yeah, that one was sent in by a kid that messaged us on our Instagram. He goes by the name of Decoy with a double Y, .limited. So his field is vintage clothing, and he's just doing a number of bits over on his page. So go and check him out, and appreciate that one for sending that through. Let us know what you think of that one. There's more to be coming soon, hopefully. Hopefully we've actually got a little bit of intro music going again.
The more we keep asking, hopefully the more words will get around and people will get involved.
So yeah,
why not?
We say it again. We'll say it every fucking episode if we want. If you know anyone that makes beats, is like a little upcoming producer, get them to get in contact with us. We always appreciate any support going along with it. So yeah, run it up. But
Yeah.
I think the first thing, which I'll let you take the lead on, was obviously the condolences.
Oh yeah, pay respects to the tragic loss of Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah.
The guy, in my opinion, the guy was, he's a symbol of hope and power, and he was the definition of the word. You could pretty much do whatever you want to do in life.
Really?
I mean, he was in probably the 2 biggest films, definitely in our generation,
Yeah.
but whether that be ever,
Do you know what?
even when he was battling with cancer. And
But the thing is, so I've read that he obviously didn't even make it known to anyone,
No,
which
he
is the
didn't.
most crazy thing. So I did see
That's-
that interview as well.
takes a real life superhero.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
I mean, when you're playing a superhero in films and you are actually one in real life, there has to be some credit where credit's due. Very sad though, and it just baffled me when I actually realised that he actually didn't even make it known to anyone.
Yeah.
But I remember I seen something as well of so he put up I think it was a photo or a video like a number of years ago, and obviously he'd lost like a considerable amount of weight.
Yeah.
But obviously with hindsight, no one realised that it was
What he
obviously
was going through.
due to what it was. Like people might have thought that he'd lost it for film, for like a new film or whatever. But yeah, that was very, very sad.
It's more like to do what he did, even going through that.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
he was. I can't imagine the work what he had to put through to get involved,
bro.
in the whole Black Panther shape and everything, while battling the whole.
But it wasn't even that. It's like it wasn't even just
bizarre.
one film, was it?
No,
it was
he
literally a number of films that he
loads,
released whilst he was battling it, and I think that just gives. Wow, it must just take horrendous. It must take such courage and just like inner strength to get yourself up to do obviously the long hours that they must do filming as well, whilst you're ultra drained by this illness.
Devastating.
So yeah, there's a lot of film fans that are very well, not even just film fans, it's just everyone across the world.
Yeah.
I think he's inspired a number of generations going forward.
Yeah. He'll be remembered forever as one of
yeah,
those guys who's
100%.
just. Yeah, he represented so much.
But yeah,
It's gutting, man. It's just 2020, isn't it?
it's literally so
again.
20. So I seen something as well
Fuck's
that
sake.
was so in 2020 that we've lost Black the Ripper, the rapper,
Yeah.
Black Mamba,
Yeah. Black
Kobe,
Panther.
and now we've lost Black Panther. Mental, man. Don't know what else. I mean, we're now in August. We're on the 31st of August. Going to be September tomorrow. What the fuck else is there to happen in this year? Like,
shocking.
yeah. So it's been a weird year. Like, we're gonna have to do some yearly recap at the end of this, like probably episode whatever it is, 20 by then.
How many weeks are there left now in the year?
So it's gonna be September, so that leaves us with
4
months. Is it?
I don't even know. Yeah, it is.
3 months.
No, September, October, November, December.
4 months.
So about 12 weeks. Is that right? Or 16 weeks? Oh my days,
weeks.
can't even do maths.
Honestly, the maths on this podcast is so trash. It's bad.
How many? Wait, 4 times 4?
Yeah, 16.
It's 16, isn't it?
Yeah.
Raw. Easy. See how quick that was?
Yeah, quick maths.
It took us 5 minutes.
Shout out to Big Shaq.
16 weeks. So what episode are we on now?
We're on episode 6.
If it is 16 weeks, yeah, we'd be around 22.
Yeah.
2022.
Hopefully.
Fucking sponsored out of our minds.
We're not
Lamborghini, get
we're not
ready.
losing pace at all. Every Monday, you know where to find us.
Yeah.
Episode 5 went well. I enjoyed it.
It was good, yeah. It was the first one where we weren't like jumping from subject to subject. The whole thing just sort of
kind of just winged it.
It was complete and utter shit though.
Yeah.
Talking nutting.
So we've had feedback that some people have skipped parts, which we're fine with.
Yeah.
We're fine with. We got lost in the conversation, I think.
We got lost in the sauce.
We got lost and ahead of ourselves. So we were obviously talking about shitting on each other on a plane or whatever.
On a plane, yeah.
But yeah, hopefully
Spaceman.
we can just rein it in a little bit. But then at the same time, do I really care? No.
That's what we
this
do
is
this
our
for.
podcast. If you want to listen, it's up to you.
It'd be nice if you did, though.
Madness. So I think the first thing that I wanted to cover, which was like something I just overheard. So it was basically I overheard a conversation between two people the other day, and she was saying that her son is obsessed with gaming, and he's he's obviously like 10 or 12 or whatever it is. Yeah. So obviously us being younger and knowing what horizons it can like open for yourself. But she was like, I just wanted to go outside. And I was like, oh, why didn't you just nurture that talent if he's got one?
Yeah.
And make him into like, or just buy him maybe a little camera so he can start streaming. Obviously, just be careful with obviously shit that happens online.
Yeah.
And just monitor it. But I mean, I think as a parent, so I guess what I wanted to kind of like say was, as a parent, if your child is
chicken.
If your child has some form of talent within like a digital industry, definitely don't try and shut them down, because I don't think that'll help them in future life. Like, the times have changed from when we were younger.
There's so many ways to make money nowadays. It's like a few years ago, I think we were speaking about this not so long ago, but it's like a few years ago, who would have thought being an influencer would be a career that you'd want? Do you know what I mean? What is that?
Like, I think the earlier stages of like social media, like, I don't think I remember it on Facebook so much. Like, I think it was early. There was definitely a few people that got like their own like pages, like business pages, and kind of got like a name for themselves through that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, not so much now. Like, Instagram's obviously just blown that out of mad proportions.
It's just so many ways. Everything is so accessible now, and people are just finding different ways. And the earlier you get involved in it, the better. The
better. Like, it's like TikTokers now.
Yeah.
Like, you can be so young now and just have such a mad following. Like, granted, there's some negative sides that may come with it. Like, you might get fucking trolled, or you might get like just loads of comments and stuff just with like hate and shit, whatever. But at the same time, I think, I mean, if you're that young, you're so early adopting like technology and just you're fast changing with everything.
It's like the difference between getting like doing a job digitally and learning on that is there's so many opinions that can get involved because you're putting your work out to everyone.
Exactly.
Whereas say you're just learning a trade as like a scaffolder or something, you've only got your boss who's gonna, if you do something wrong, then he's going to tell you what to do. Whereas if you do it online, everyone can see it, and then you're going to get like just far more feedback, whether it be hate or whatnot. Yeah. But it's that's the only difference, is because it's so accessible. Trying to find that
balance between the two, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just like I'm even now, like, we're 24. Like, I went to use Excel the other day, and I was like, Raz, I have actually forgotten everything.
Yeah.
Like, I was trying to just do a simple formula,
And I was just baffled. I was like, Raz, I've actually forgot everything. But then if you give that to a kid now that's still in school, he'll smash it out. Like, he'll just know exactly what to do it.
Yeah.
So I think as times change, I think those types of careers will be kind of like the norm, I think. It's like being a YouTuber, being I don't know, maybe a podcaster, maybe just, I don't know, making some form of like content is definitely something that's rife within younger kids now.
Yeah. The whole point of it is to make it easier to see. So it's like, rather than putting stuff on billboards, they'll pay somebody to make a video, chuck it online, and then pay to have that advertised, because people are online more than they are like driving around these days.
Well, the thing is, I think as well, like influencers have such a key part of that, because like you do generally have reach. Like your reach can be as well. You're just thinking you're accessing one device. Like I don't know how many people actually use Instagram now, like the actual definitive figures it's in the billions though, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that can be anywhere across the world. Like it doesn't like just like your advert isn't just, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like stuck to like that one like geolocation kind of thing. It's just, it can go wider.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's mad. So I was listening to that and I was just thinking, do you know what? I would hate to have that instilled in me as a kid now, as like, oh no, I can't do it. I can't do it. Where I've seen on the flip side, like parents encouraging the kids to do stuff like that, and they've made like names for themselves. Obviously, it's like it comes with, obviously I've said the negative sides.
It is difficult, especially in the gaming. It is difficult because it's the same as being a professional in a sport.
Yeah,
there's so much competitiveness towards being. So it's like, it's not like, oh, I'm good at a game, I'm going to become a professional. I can go to the competition. It's not that. Like, people put in like time and effort, like stupid amount of time, but then that's when the stereotype comes in of being like, oh, this kid has no life, he just sits in his room playing games.
But it's like, no, you actually
he's training, like he's genuinely training.
Yeah, you're like putting the building blocks in to build some foundation for yourself so you can get better. It's with everything though. Like, practice literally makes perfect. Like, regardless of what you're doing, what industry you're in, the more you practice it, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna get better. Yeah.
It's the Booger situation, the kid who became Fortnite world champion. What was the prize money? Wasn't it like 30 million or something?
It was something silly. It was very high.
Yeah, it was stupid money.
It was a crazy amount.
Anyway, and this kid had he hadn't really won much prize money.
No.
And obviously, because you had the qualifiers, didn't you, per like week for about 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
And then the big event in New York, I think it was. And his parents had always told him, like, you're not going to make much money from this. And he wins the Fortnite competition. That's it. Like 30 million.
Yeah.
If it is 30 million, I can't remember what it was.
It was literally, I remember seeing like the aftermath of it as well. And there was so many different types of celebrities like shouting him out. Because obviously Fortnite was the biggest game. It probably still is.
If anything, it's sort of, the whole gaming industry got a massive boost from just Fortnite, because Twitch became huge. Like, obviously they would have hundreds of thousands of views before, but they must be up in the millions now, surely.
Of course.
Because so much attention was drawn to it.
That's when smaller companies then look out and they're kind of like piques their ears and like they're interested and like, oh shit, maybe this is an industry we should get involved in, which has definitely happened. Like, I've seen it happen myself. There's been loads of things, like obviously Red Bull are massive anyway into like, well, more like outdoor sports, but they sponsor a lot of fucking hell.
Get your words
like
out.
Streamers and stuff.
Get your words out.
Get your words out.
Yeah, well, Ninja, another huge one based from Fortnite. He's now a Adidas ambassador, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's got his own line through Adidas. So it's like...
It's like that amalgamation between clothing, sportswear, I guess, and now being known as an athlete.
It's mad, yeah. Like, I've written a few articles on this, actually, because one of my very first ones was, are gamers considered athletes?
Yeah, well, figuratively, yeah.
There was some loopholes, man. It's kind of weird, because it's like, technically they're not, but then if they need to travel, they're allowed to apply for an athlete's visa.
Okay.
So they can obtain athlete's visa because they're saying they're going to compete.
Yeah.
But then, like...
So that's where the athlete stage comes up. Kind of part.
And they're still... And it's like... Things like... So, certain things like... You'd have to wire your brain differently to know exactly where shit is. You know, whatever game you're playing, you'd learn like a pattern to doing whatever you got to do.
And everything,
yeah. And it's like reaction time.
Mm-hmm.
Reaction time's got to be, at one of the highest
quickest
levels. Otherwise, you're just not going to have anything.
Yeah.
It's mad, yeah.
It is mad though. Like,
it's like brain fatigue. You think of that for that long.
I mean,
your head's going to go.
To like Nintendo DS days when, what was it? Dr. Zeus brain training?
Yeah.
Was it Dr. Zeus? No, it wasn't. Whatever it was, anyway. But yeah, I remember everyone going wild at that at one point because I was like reaction times and like certain things.
Do you remember the impossible quiz as well?
Yeah.
Everyone used to sit in school, and there'd be that one kid who's done it so many times they can get to like, wasn't there 100 levels?
It was something like that, yeah.
And they'd get up to like 80, but like the first like 20 levels, they were just like bam, bam, bam,
yeah,
bam,
because they just know where it is.
They just knew because they'd done it so many times.
Exactly, like I said, practice makes perfect, and it's literally just remembering. It's how good your memory is at that point.
Yeah.
But it's mad.
Mad, yeah. Gaming is one of them weird ones. If anything, that sort of gaming industry is probably, it probably is a future, to be honest, because it gets people involved in these sort of, rather than sitting there and just like watching something, it gets you involved in it. It's like there's so many different aspects to gaming. It's crazy.
The thing is, though, the one thing I've noticed over like our growing up kind of thing is, whereas like network connection and things like that never really used to play that much of a part in like younger competing days. Like if I think back at like early stages of like Call of Duty, like you'd be able to go into scrims on like MLG, like Major League Gaming, if no one knows.
Scrims is like professional game lobbies, basically. Yeah,
but it was kind of like you just set them up and you just invite a different team and you just play, I don't know, search and destroy or whatever.
Yeah.
But that like network connection, it did kind of play a part, but not really. But now you've got kids literally moving across the country in America to literally get lower like bandwidth rates and stuff. So your ping's like lower, because it does play probably one of the most vital parts of it now, especially with how quick things are developing as well. Like even like the games and stuff, like because obviously when Fortnite initially came out, like building was a key part, but everyone was trash. Like it was just trash at it, and I don't think Fortnite like expected people to get as good so fast. So I know. I mean,
it took a while because I remember watching like Nick Merckx and stuff and Ninja and that, and they were like, I think it was Nick Merckx, and he was just like, "Oh my God, you're all trash." Yeah. Like he was like, "All you guys in the chat, you are just trash." And then like a few months later, because nobody was watching people play.
No, that's
because
the thing.
they didn't know how to get better.
Up, yeah.
So and then they found this streaming service, Twitch, and it like obviously. All these people who started years ago would post their like best highlights on YouTube. And you just watch it for entertainment. And then Twitch came out and offers just a completely different way of viewing games, where you could sort of be in this guy's community or this person's community and watch them play and watch how they do it, and then you could use the stuff that he did to then get better. And then that's when the whole competitive thing started just getting bigger and bigger
and just snowballed. Then I think there's something more. I think I always like watching live stuff and live content because I find it, I don't know why, there's just something so much more engaging about it. It's kind of like real-time footage.
I'd love to do this live sometimes.
Yeah. So this podcast, maybe, if we can get a solid amount of viewers, I'm not going to do it to 1 and 2 because...
I don't care. I'd love to just try it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm all for it. So yeah, maybe... Twitch account coming soon.
Twitch account, maybe. YouTube,
maybe
fucking
we've just
anything.
done a little early teaser.
Anything.
To our avid listeners, if you want to see our ugly mugs, let us know.
Yeah,
live.
I mean you can see it now, but it's whether you want to see it live.
There's maybe chopped and changed, who knows?
Yeah.
Madness. I was going to ask, I was thinking in work the other day, as I sat there, had a cup of coffee, I was thinking,
Cafe Mox.
What is actually the most elite biscuit in the world?
Biscuit? I'll tell you what I think is the most underrated dunker. Custard cream, I think, is a very underrated dunker.
But it's just fire.
Because like the biscuit goes soggy, but then you still get like the
middle bit,
the sweet, icing-y
cream.
Bit. Yeah, ooh, bum bum.
And it just stays together.
Yeah, and it holds it. Yeah, because it's all the sweet sugary goodness now.
Fire. So I was thinking an underrated one is also a malted milk. But it's kind of one of those ones where it depends on the temperature of the
Malted
tea or the
milk.
coffee. Because if your tea's too hot, mate, that's got no stability in it unless you've got 2 or 3 together.
Yeah. So do you dunk biscuits in tea?
Yes.
See, I didn't know this, but there's huge controversy around dunking biscuits
Whether you
in tea.
should or not.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
What's
I was
the
like,
point?
I've just always like.
Why wouldn't you?
That's what I mean.
Who
I
the
don't
fuck's
understand.
making this- Mate, honestly,
I was in
never-
work. I was in work ages ago, and loads of people were kicking up a fuss because
What? Saying
there
you
was like
shouldn't?
2 of us dunking in tea, and the rest of the office were like,
Get out of here.
"You're disgusting." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" Like,
Get out of here,
I
man.
just always thought that that's a thing. Like, that's just a thing, innit? You dunk it
I
in
dunno.
tea.
See, this is what I've always wondered. Is like, is it like a British tradition? Like we were saying the other day, like anything can go between bread. Like
Yeah.
it's like a British thing. Like you'll have like chips. You'll go to the chippy and then you'll get a butty, like a chip
A chip butty, yeah.
And you're like, why? You've just put chips in bread, and it's like,
Yeah.
why is that banging?
Is it called a butty just in Wales, or is it in England as well?
I don't actually know.
Because yeah,
Alright, butty.
'cause you got a laptop there. Seriously.
Yeah, I know. I will actually have a quick look.
Yeah, I want to know. I want to see if
Is
it's a chip.
butty in
Or is it-
Oh, what
or
is
is
a
it-
chip butty in England?
or
Here
is
we
it a
go. A
salmon?
chip butty is
It is
yeah.
a chip butty, is it?
it's just known in the UK as
It's a
that.
chip butty. Mad.
Yeah, it is. Oh, a butty
Yeah.
is a sandwich in a Northern English dialect. So it's actually not.
Oh,
it's more
so it's
actually a fucking
northern.
Northern England. Fair. Because obviously we know butty as a greeting.
Yeah, it's like,
in
"Butty."
in Wales. Alright, butty. How's it going, butty? But yeah, so I was thinking a
Sunny.
malted milk is
Yeah.
a solid effort.
Malted milk. I don't think I've had one of them in years.
Nah.
Honestly, I feel like they were like a Nan's biscuit. You know, go eat Nan's
Yeah,
yard.
there's something so satisfying about those. Just boom.
It's the thing. The thing with them is you just end up eating. You eat one, you're like, oh, I'll have another one. Have another one. Have another one.
Yeah.
Have another one.
Oh, yeah, no,
Have another one. Just keep going.
No,
They're
this
like,
is just-
got a cup of tea. I can dunk a bit. And they're like, fucking.
Yeah.
What do you mean dunking it into
But the thing
teas?
is, right, I've always had, like, this is where I carry a little bit of extra weight. Because my rule has always been, try and have 2 biscuits. Mate, the fuck
no.
does that happen? I'm
No.
having a whole packet. If
Yeah.
I get going, mate, you can't stop it.
I had to introduce a rule in our flat. I was like, we got to have 3, otherwise they're gonna be
Is
gone,
it?
and we need to make them last because they're just gonna be gone otherwise. And then the next day
When
you're
you
gonna be
go
like,
to
I
look for
really
it.
want a biscuit.
I feel you. But
You gotta do it.
Asda, right, Asda do the chocolate malted milks. Elite!
Elite.
Oh, they're just fire. They
No,
are fire.
I like the Leibniz.
I know the exact one you're on about. It's with the
Leibniz.
biscuit with the chocolate hangs over the back.
Yeah, there's just something about them. There's something about them.
Yeah, I'm all
The
for them.
Leibniz. Have you tried the orange ones? They got like chocolate orange
haven't.
Leibniz. I have no idea how you say it.
I don't know.
Lebanese. Not a clue.
Anyway, if you know what we're on about, because if you like biscuits or if you just
It's just like
not a waste man.
it's like it's just like a rectangle biscuit, but the chocolate
Yeah.
goes like
But it's
well
just
over
boom.
the edge. Oh,
Do you know what? Whoever made that
Get out.
decision to overhang the chocolate,
oh,
you're a certain
hats
don.
off, my G.
You're just a
Hats
don.
off.
But I was thinking as well. What was I gonna say? So them ones and obviously Lotus like Biscoff.
Oh yeah, Biscoff.
So that's
Biscoffy.
gone booming lately. Like that's been like
People
it's
making
kind of been like
muffins
a
and
little
that.
bit of a trend. But obviously you used to get them when you used to go to like a little cafe and they just give you that one little diddy biscuit. You're like, mate, come on, what's this about?
Sort me
Like,
out, G.
literally, where's the packet?
I'm sat here. Have you not seen my belly though?
I know.
I'm sat here.
Fuck, I look like one biscuit kind of guy.
You can hear my belly rumbling from a mile away. Just give me another one.
But they do the spread. Oi.
Oh, the spread.
Oi.
I bought the spread and it took me fucking months to finish that because like you have it, you eat some of it and then it's so like filling and sickly
yeah.
that you're just like, I can't eat that again.
But honestly, the goat dessert now for me is Lotus biscuit off cheesecake. Oi.
I just
Not a fan.
no, I like it, but cheesecake
In
is
rations.
just vanilla cheesecake is just
Just the bun.
my fave. Like
Madagascar.
you know them the fat layer cheesecake and it's all whipped up.
Lemon on your mic.
Honestly, I'm drooling. That's why, bro. Honestly, and then you can see the little vanilla beans in there. Oh, God.
Delicious. See, you've always been more of a savoury guy.
Yeah, I think.
Well, I don't know actually. In between, but you've always been a crisp head, like.
Oh, crisp! Oh, fuck me.
Crisp.
You got to turn up with a bag of Cranisps.
Yeah, but I don't know. I've always just been sweet forever. So anything sweet.
I don't know. I think it's because like I enjoy the flavour of whatever I've eaten, and I don't want it to go by eating something sweet.
Yeah, I feel you.
So it's like you eat something really tasty, and then it's like
don't want to
eating something completely different, and you'd lose the flavour.
But this is what I always get confused at when we go for a meal, and it'll always be like I'll yam bare food, I'll have my starters and mains, whatever, and then by the end of the mains, I'm like, fucking hell, I'm stuffed as. I'll still be looking.
Always room.
But there's something about having something sweet after my savoury that does break that fullness. But then after you've eaten the sweet stuff, you're like, finesse that. Like, you're literally wobbling out of the restaurant.
It's like when you eat the meal and you get really full and you're like, oh, there's definitely room, and then you eat the dessert, and then that's when you've gone from full to I'm gonna vomit everywhere. Like, that's too much food. I've eaten far too much. And then we went out for my mum's birthday to a Greek place on Cowbridge Road East. Okay. And I can't remember what it was called. Oh, it was so bum in there. And I was up until like 2 a.m. because I was just sitting there. You know, when you're lying in bed and you just stay full, and you're like, I'm actually gonna be sick.
It's because when it hits that point and you can feel it, like you can feel how full you are, and you're like, shit, I could vom.
Why? And then I sit there and I'm like, why did I eat that much? Like, what was the point of me eating that much? And now I'm sat here suffering, dying. I mean, I just want to go sleep, and I'm scared I'm gonna vomit.
literally, that's the worst. The worst part, right? Like, not so much now, but when I was definitely in like the height of training and stuff, mate, having to like force that meal down at like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock sometimes in the night, and you just sat there in bed, you're like, fucking hell, I feel grotty as. Yeah. Like, I think I've got a cut off now where I just won't eat past like 9 o'clock, unless obviously you're out and about, whatever. But 9 o'clock's shut off time for me, because otherwise my belly is not having that when I'm sleeping.
Hang on, you fucking had bare food yesterday about
half 10, 11. That's what I mean. If I'm out and about, the exceptions. But
I had a couple of gin-ins.
You have a gin and you're just starving.
Couple of gins and that's it then. You're off and away.
You have to be.
I wasn't that hungry last night. And you were just bare.
I was bare smashing food.
Fish bites.
But I need to get back into the training. It's been something that's been slacking a little bit.
I don't know if it's like because of the whole lockdown situation.
I was just thinking the same thing. 2020's put me in a weird mood, like.
Because like you've been able to because everyone's been able to find out they could do loads of stuff at home. Yeah. I don't know if it's them being like, oh, I can just do it at home now instead of going to the gym.
But then it's like, are you actually disciplined enough to do it at home?
Yeah.
There's definitely been
and I don't think you go hard enough when you're at home because you're just like, oh, I'm at home.
I mean, getting a full piss on sweat, like, it's so annoying.
Dripping all over your living room. It's not the same.
It's not the same. You go to have a shower and then you come back in your living room and it just stinks of bow. You're like, nah,
it's like that. Yeah, you don't want to like. I wouldn't like to work from home anyway because it's like then your home has become your workplace, so you never sort of get the rest off.
Get the divide in between two. Like.
It's like, say you work in a restaurant or something and you're not in, and somebody says, "Oh, should we go to the restaurant?" You're like, "I don't want to go to the place of work."
It's like that's the thing when you've got company perks. That's what always cracks me up when you got a friend that works somewhere and they've always got the company perks. Like, I remember when I used to work in River Island, and it used to be the worst. Like, someone would be like, oh, can you just give me a discount for, like, a pair of jeans or whatever? Yeah. And we'd have to go in there, and I'd just be like, oh, this is just trash. It's like... I just don't want to be here in the first place.
It's like the smells as well. You get just the smell of work, and it's like, oh, for fuck's sake.
I'm back.
Here we are.
Well, we're in our living room. We're technically at work.
We are.
But we're chilling.
But we enjoy this work, so
this
it's
is
fine.
Episode 6. Yeah. I'm gassed though. I'm gassed we've got a little camera. We don't know what it's going to be like.
I haven't got a clue. Hopefully it'll be alright.
I think hopefully...
It'll do for now.
Yeah, for now.
Until Canon sponsor us and send us... Nah, Sony, innit?
Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon. We'll be on Wild and Out roasted, man.
Yeah.
It's
Wild
class.
and Out getting absolutely rinsed.
But no, it's good. We've... hopefully this will be our new little setup now. I like getting video content. I think it's more engaging for the listener or
It's
viewer.
just another thing that we can put it out on.
Yeah, and I think we wanted to kind of give you little snippets and stuff, obviously like maybe like prior to the episode coming out.
Yeah, and because the Insta is just not popping.
No,
The
not
Insta
popping.
is not popping.
Yeah, also,
We
actually,
need
I've
something.
got beef with every man on this fucking listening list. I've actually got beef. So,
Go
right,
on.
we are at
Go off on them, Sam.
97 followers on this on our podcast page. So, if there's 3 of you that know you're hiding behind your little screens and you
Just
haven't
click
clicked that
it.
follow button, I'm gonna come for you if I find out it's you.
I'm gonna find you.
I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna kill you. But yeah, it's mad. We'll get there. We're not going anywhere anyway, so
No.
that's a fucking certain.
Every Monday. Mondizzle.
Every Monday. But what was I gonna say? I was gonna say something about oh yeah, so a few things that we've we've seen over this week as well. So if you haven't seen it, so Steve the Madman. So Steve the Madman, obviously probably one of the biggest Insta comedians. Well, it's obviously started on Snapchat, but we were just creasing the other day watching it with the Chris Eubank.
Oh,
So if you haven't seen it, it's Chris Eubank, obviously the ex-pro boxer. He claims that he hasn't had the KFC for something ridiculous, like
it was
30
like
years or something
20,
like that.
30 years, I think he said.
I'm like, bruv, allow it. Like, you literally are lying. But he...
I wasn't sure when he said it. I wasn't sure if he meant the tango.
Do you know what, actually? Now I've thought about it, I think he says the tango, doesn't he?
He does say I haven't had a tango for a certain amount of years,
Yeah.
but then I couldn't tell
If you
because
meant-
I don't think he ever had a KFC. I don't
And that
think
was
he's.
his
I think that was the
first.
first KFC,
Right.
and I think he said he hadn't had a tango for 20, 30 years. I think that's what it was.
But anyway, they sit down to eat this fucking bargain bucket or whatever it is. And honestly, I've never seen Chris Eubank switch character. I've just never seen him in anything other than
Like
that.
Chris Eubanks.
Yeah,
character, yeah.
that Chris Eubank, like formal, kind of a little bit oddly fucking weird. But yeah, he sips the tango.
Honestly, he sips it for the longest. He's like,
yeah, that's what I wanted to say as well. My man's just drunk the whole thing in
Yeah,
one
oh.
slurp.
and then he puts it down. He goes, and then he gets up on the table and he goes,
It's bigger! This tango's bigger!
"It's big, tango's big. We're big."
What an oddball. What an
He's
oddball.
so strange.
Oh, mate.
This tango's big.
The thing is, right, I know what Steve-O's like from watching his content and stuff. And
His face was like,
He's like, he genuinely looks the most baffled man I've ever
"We're
seen.
big."
It's just class.
You could just imagine everyone like, what the
Well,
fuck?
the thing is, like, you think when they go to film these like tiny little skits and like little like promo vids and stuff, the workers are obviously, they probably know who they are. If not,
Yeah.
they've probably been briefed
Yeah,
that
yeah,
morning
yeah.
by the manager. Like, they're going to be coming in. But when he's doing like impromptu stuff like that, and he's standing there, mate, I would be so creasing. It's class.
Imagine working in KFC
Yeah.
and just hearing a man go, "We're big."
Do you know what it reminded me of? Have you ever seen that video? And there's everyone sat down in Nando's, and this guy's like, he munches on his chicken or whatever, and he fucking slaps the table, makes the loudest noise. He goes, "Oi!" And he's like, "Who made this?"
Oh yeah.
Everyone just like looks at him, and they're like, "What the fuck's this
He's
weirdo
like,
doing?"
I did
And
so.
he's like, I did. The chef's like in the background. He's like, "You're my man," or something like that.
Oh, it's
He's
real.
like, oh, he just starts bigging him up. It's just class. Oh, I fucking love it.
Chris Eubank is a fucking mate.
He's just odd as.
Do you remember when he was on what's that show again when they watched it? Gogglebox.
Yeah.
Do you remember when he was on Gogglebox with his kids?
Yeah, what's that?
And he's and he picks up the little jar and he goes, "Would you like a sweetie?"
oh, yeah.
And
That's what that
he
means.
goes, "I'd like a Smartie, yeah." And he goes, "These are Smarties, indeed." And he, an absolute stupendous confectionery.
Stupendous confectionery. That seems to be like his go-to, like.
Oh, he
tagline
loves
now,
that
doesn't it?
word, doesn't
He loves it. Like, even at the end of that Steve-O thing, he's saying it.
Would you like a sweetie?
I think we. So we were saying about it yesterday when we was just like, he's remained in the same character, and we.
Yeah.
we've kind of like, not conspiracy theorist on it, but like we kind of just got a theory that it's not an act, but it kind of like is his character now that he's like bought into.
Yeah, I thought like it's like a character when he was a boxer.
Yeah.
And then he just like became the character.
It's been on for so long.
He just stuck with it.
Mm.
And it's big.
It's big. I don't know.
I'm sure. I don't even know. Like, I assume he was a good boxer, right? I've never.
Yeah, no, he was. But honestly,
it's big.
It's big.
Yeah.
Oh, every time I think about it, it just cracks me up.
It was so funny.
It's not, like, realistically, it's not even that funny.
No.
It's just how he's got on the chair, like...
There's just no reason for it.
But the thing is, right, the cameraman set it up so obviously they've got both of them like even side of the table, and the cameraman's not even had a clue what to do. So it's like he's got like he's like panda down, and you can just see like the bottom of his head. Oh,
looking up at this tango like, yes, we're big.
Oh, quality. Oh, the
name of this episode:
class.
We're big.
We're big. Oh.
It's the after the big.
It's the grumble. Oh, classic. Honestly, that is probably one of the best things I've seen in a long while. It just every time I think about it.
When you first mentioned Steve the Madman, I was like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Where's he going
with it?
What the
fuck is this? Because I thought you were on about Steve-O.
Oh, Steve-O.
Because he done himself to the billboards.
Yeah, I mean, we can actually cover that, to be fair. So, if you don't know, Steve-O from Jackass, he's got his new... So, I believe, right, it's on his website, and it's kind of like a pay-per-view show.
I don't know, because he's been doing stand-up. I just figured it was going to be a stand-up.
So
a stand-up talk called Gnarly or something. Yeah, have a look.
Steve.
But I figured it was just going to be... Because he's been doing a lot of stand-up.
Yeah, but I think so. He's like promoting that Gnarly thing.
Yeah, what is that? Is that?
So I think I think you can like pay to watch those like stand-up sections. Let me have a look. Yes, look. So stream the whole thing. £7.49. Stream now. So,
what is it though? Is it just him doing stupid shit?
I think it's him like he's been posting like a lot of content on his Insta of like best like top 10 like worst fucking like injuries and stuff. Yeah. And honestly, they are class.
Mate,
some of the stupid stuff. How is that guy alive?
I know. I'd love to sit down with him and just have a conversation. Like, do you remember when like we were younger and he was the weirdest role models to ever have, and we just fucking obsessed with them.
I think if you were anything into like skating or just like anything like of that era, like I can't really like summarize it. There's definitely like a generation.
It was like when you were 15, and you weren't allowed to watch it, but because it was an 18.
That's
but
what I mean.
it was the thrill of it all, like watching it, and
like
it was just so funny.
I'm so glad I was at the age I was, because I remember watching it so many times just back to back.
Still watch it like these days. I still just put it on.
I remember, was it so me having your DVD or you had my DVD of it? Remember that? We lent each other a DVD.
I think I've probably still got it.
So I think it was either I had your Zombieland or you had my Zombieland.
Yeah.
And then I had something like Jackass 2. I think, no, you had my Jackass 2.
Yeah,
and then we both
had Zombieland, definitely.
We just fucking both forgot Raw to give each other's DVD back. And I remember like a year and a half later, we were like, yo, haven't you got my DVD? You were like, yeah, I don't know where it's gone.
That was back in the day without Netflix. Mad.
Yeah, literally, when you actually had to have DVDs.
That is mad, isn't it?
It is. But yeah, no, that Steve O'Nally thing looks class. Like the one bit in the trailer, right, that got me, and it had me literally like, you know, when you just do like, it feels like you're just being like, oh, like electric shocked. Is when fucking Johnny Knoxville, like obviously he's strapped to the side of the van and he's just like slinging the baseballs at him. Oh, mate, there's one right, and it probably goes no more than like 5 foot from his head, and I'm thinking if that baseball hits you just clean off the Swede.
Oh my!
Imagine that, just murdering your mate. Mad.
Yeah. That's... Okay, let's go there. Jesus. I watched Piers Morgan interview. It's a show called Piers Morgan meets a psychopath or something, and he interviewed a guy who killed his younger sister, stabbed her 17 times.
No way.
Just because you mentioned that, I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah, no, Piers Morgan. So actually, whilst we're on that as well, Piers Morgan, like, he does like a lot of those documentaries, which are actually quite sick.
Yeah.
There's ones on Netflix, like Piers Morgan with like a serial killer.
Yeah.
And obviously he does those, like, what are they actually called? You know when he does like, he'll just do like a celebrity's name and it's like with Piers Morgan. He just does like
yeah,
sit down
life
with,
stories.
Yeah,
life stories.
That's the word. But no, those serial killer one, like we watched one the other day, and there was this guy, right, and he basically got away with like being a serial killer for 30 years.
Really?
Like, because obviously this was, I think it started in like the 60s or something like that, or the 70s. And obviously, like DNA testing wasn't around then.
Yeah.
Like it was only like a number of years after that they were able to actually like trace the sample back and just see if it actually was linked to this guy. He got away with it, and I think he killed like 17 or 18 like prostitutes in somewhere in America. And the guy sat there, bro, and I'm not even joking. Like he sat talking to Piers Morgan, and he's so bought into that lie that it wasn't him. Like he's like, nah, no comment. Yeah. So whatever he was giving like to the police in like the initial interviews when they taken him in, like when they got arrested, and he was like, no, I've never met him. But it was like a certain like thing. He was like, nah, I never met her or something like that. And he was just constantly saying that. And even like 30 years later, the sentence was exactly the same. And I was like, that's so odd.
Yeah. He's literally been holding on to that.
Yeah, it's like he bought into it so much that he just doesn't actually know. And he was showing him photos of like the people that he had like genuinely killed, and he's just like barefaced, just looking at it like nah. And I was just thinking, how the hell are you that cold? Like,
yeah. The guy who we watched, the one who killed his little sister, he's getting out in 2027. Because he was a juvenile. He was 13 when he stabbed her, and he was out of the hatred for his mum. Okay. He hated his mum, so he thought, I'll just take away
the sister.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And they interviewed him, and they obviously they had to do it through, protectionists, through like a metal wall and shit. And it was because they thought Piers Morgan's life was in danger because the guy's IQ is 141, which is apparent genius level.
Yeah.
I don't know, like the spectrum of.
I think that is very high though, or something.
And it's just weird because every time Piers asked him a question, you could see the answer, like the cogs turning in his head, of oh shit, what do I say now? Because he's like, whatever I say then. And they had like, did you watch Mindhunters?
Nah, do you know what? I watched episode 1 and 2, and then I never got around to actually finishing that.
So the first one's way better than the second one.
Yeah.
But it's basically because they started the whole, they're not just murderers. There's something wrong, so they start interviewing.
Do you know what? That's what I was going to say on the back of it. It's kind of like I would love to do some research or just have that knowledge of. It's kind of like how your brain like functions when you're just doing that stuff, and it always seems to be like a similar. They always have to have like similar like personality traits, I think. Like on the back, like it's how they. I don't really know how to like explain it, but they always do like similar patterns, don't they? Like they're either just like, so this is what this guy was saying, and so they only caught this guy that had gone on this like mad manhunt. So they think it was fueled because his younger sister turned into a prostitute. So that's why he thinks there was like a mad hatred for the prostitutes, who just basically tried to eliminate them all. But then he was like this like one chief or like whatever. He went over to his house, and he was like, everything was just like immaculate, like everything was like organized like perfectly. He was like, I went in the drawer, and he had all like these letters and stuff, and he was just like naming all the like, it was naming it in order, like what the like letters were. He was like, what's this one? And he was like, yeah, okay, that's that. And he was like this, and he was like bang on with it. It was just like really weird. It was like kind of like autistic behavior.
It's like to it's hard to say because like you see people like Elon Musk and all these geniuses, like there's obviously, because when they speak it's a bit like on Joe Rogan.
Disjointed,
it's like he's got an extra screw somewhere that makes him so clever in that specific field.
It's literally talking to the
but
dummy.
Then in somewhere else they could be terrible because all they've done is they know everything about that one subject.
Yeah, I think the brain is probably one of the most fascinating things ever. Like generally just like the human body in like in total. I just love it. I find it so interesting. But yeah, like you said, like I think people target that one side of their brain that they can't actually like, their brain like functions differently on that other side.
Yeah, and it's like they're so used to dealing with stuff
So
in one area
yeah,
that they're just so clever in that they've
Yeah.
figured out sort of almost all of those problems they're going to face in this one specific field, whereas when they get faced with like a life problem, it's like, fuck, what do I do here?
It's just literally like trying to talk to the
Yeah,
people that are less informed and trying to relate that information, because
it's
obviously
mad.
because he could just talk a load of jargon and you would like you just believe it because you know he's obviously just the expert
Just
in that
yeah.
field.
He says so many big words in his interviews, and I'm just like, what does that even, how do you even know what that is?
It's mad. It is mad. But then I think he is probably one of the least. Like I would love to just know what it's like to think like that.
Yeah,
Like I think our just general thought processes they do probably take you off into like into detail about certain things, but to be able to go into that depth of whatever you're talking about must be class.
no.
Like when someone's like actually on the same level as you and knows what you're actually on about, if you start like delving in deep into it, it must be mad.
I think that's why everyone's so fascinated by when Joe Rogan interviewed him, because I don't think many people like had heard that much about him. They knew of him,
Yeah,
but they didn't know that much about him.
One of my favourites because he's been on there twice now, right?
Yeah, he's done 2 now.
Yeah,
and the
so
first one was when he smoked
the zoo, yeah.
and then someone made a huge mural, didn't they?
Yeah, it was
and he's just like,
his Lush Sucks on it. So the Lush Sucks guy's class.
Yeah,
He's from, I think he's from Australia, from like Melbourne, I think he is. So he just literally just graffitis memes everywhere, and he's like, God, what do you want this to do? And he'll be like a fusion between like Elon Musk and like fucking
50 Cent.
Like
It's usually 50 Cent. I swear to God, it's 50 Cent.
And there was
all
loads
the time.
of 6ix9ine as well, and it was like 6ix9ine with Donald Trump hair and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But he's class. He's fucking quality. He's done so well for himself. If you've never heard of him, his name's Lush Sucks, spelled SUX on Instagram.
Yeah. No, he's funny.
But yeah, I think Joe Rogan. So that's why I think Joe Rogan has definitely done so well as well, because he's so informed about so many different topics. And if he isn't, he's more than happy to sit there and listen and just.
He's just open-minded about it.
Yeah,
that's all. He's open-minded, and that's like people like the opinionated things because it causes controversy.
Yeah,
and I think that's why it took so long for his to sort of
do well,
blow up, because I mean it is the biggest now.
Yeah,
100%. In the world, and it's like it was just a guy being open-minded, having guests on, and taking in just loads of information, rather than being like, nah, you're wrong, I'm right, which would have made loads of controversy. And I think that's something I've learned over the years as well, whilst growing up as well. It's kind of like, by all means, have your opinion, but also don't shoot others down for having their opinion. Yeah. And also just try and learn things. Like you're never, unless you're, like you said, like an expert in that field, like there's no point of trying to speak on it too much or trying to argue your point if you're actually not that informed. And someone can just generally school you, and then you just sit there like, well, I'm not going to get angry at it. Yeah. I'm just going to listen to you and learn from you. Yeah. And I think that definitely helps, and a lot of people that I've probably met in my time could do with changing it's
that.
Like there's no. Like, you can only benefit from hearing somebody out. There's no... You're not going to lose anything by listening to somebody. It's like... That's
it.
Yeah.
The one thing I did see... what I always find, like, really, like, sick is how, like, Joe Rogan relates anything back to, like, martial arts and, like, fighting. Yeah. It's so mad. Like, I was listening to, like, the latest one with, like, David Blaine. And obviously,
that's
like...
the maddest. That guy is a freak.
I've never... It's just... Have you seen what he's doing now? Like his upcoming
doing
thing,
the balloons,
So mad. But yeah, basically, like we'll get on to that. But he was basically saying that when he did, I think it was the stunt for like holding like your breath and stuff. So he was obviously like doing like breathing training and stuff. And I think so the original like time that you could like hold your breath was something like within like the 3 to 4 minute like region or something like that.
This,
And then he was like, oh, well, that is... And then he found out that people had records that it would go up to like 6 and 7 minutes.
It was like unofficial that somebody held their breath for like 20 minutes or something.
Yeah. And then he broke that record, didn't he, I think?
I don't know. I think he got up to like 17, I think, because the 20 was unofficial.
Yeah.
And he holds like the official Because
So
yeah,
mad.
have a look.
But
The guy's nuts though.
the thing is, right? I've watched a few things of David Blaine's. Like obviously, when we were younger. I think he was a little bit more prominent in like the industry. I think you've seen a lot more of him. I think he went quiet for a little bit, didn't he?
Yeah, he does his stunt, does a special. Like he does
Yeah.
a special, does a stunt, and goes away for years.
Yeah.
And comes back, does
But the
a
thing is, I
special,
think-
does a stunt.
I think it's kind of just the final product we see. But I think for all those years, he generally is just working
Yeah.
on his next thing. So I know he said for this one. So the thing he's got coming up, I don't know what it's called. So I mean,
It's called Ascension
Ascension, is it?
because he's holding on to
So, yeah.
balloons and he's going to fly across
And then
however
he
far.
He
holding
said he's going to
balloons.
he wants to get to 25,000 feet. So he said he approached YouTube, and he
Because they're doing it, and the YouTube are covering it.
yeah. So YouTube said, yeah, that sounds like a sick idea. Like,
And
class.
when he was explaining it on Joe Rogan, he was like, "Oh yeah, I didn't want to do something dangerous. I wanted to do something that my kids would enjoy watching."
Yeah.
What do you
Mate,
mean?
You literally, and the thing is, right? So he said he's done all. Have you listened to the whole thing?
I listened to him talking about all his
Yeah.
stunts and.
So he was saying
shit.
that he's done all the broken down elements like individually. So he had to do something like 500 like base jumps.
Yeah.
To get like some form of like qualification to say
Yeah.
like he's actually trained as a base jumper. As a
He's doing it without a
skydiver,
parachute, isn't he?
So no, he's got a parachute, but it's actually strapped to one of the
Oh,
balloons.
he's got to put it on.
Yeah, so that's what he was saying. So he was like, we've done a skydive, but we've had parachutes all the time. He was like, I had to get this like a hot air balloon like license as well to say that it's controllable.
Yeah.
And then he was also saying then that he hasn't tried it without the parachute. But it's just mad. Like, so he said that the first time that he's going to be doing that and putting on the parachute is literally when it's going to be live.
The guy's a fucking nutter.
Because he was saying basically he wanted to break the limit where the camera will actually lose focus of him, so he will look like he's just disappeared. But he said
because he did the whole oxygen test, didn't he, with all the different people in the plane?
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh, you're just doing a trick," and we're like,
but
"No, give me yours." And he did it. It was like the oxygen intake went up rather than down when they were going.
And it made no sense.
At like certain altitude, his oxygen intake was at like 93%, and then when he started doing whatever breathing technique he was doing, it started to rise up to 99%, and everyone was like, "That's impossible. It
literally just doesn't make sense."
And they were all laughing and stuff on the plane because they thought, oh, he's a magician, he's just doing a trick or whatever. And he was like, "All right, give me yours, and I'll do it with yours." And they all traded, and then every single time they measured the oxygen intake, it was 99%.
Doesn't make sense to me. Like
it's the Wim Hof method, I reckon. You know that Wim Hof bloke who sits in ice.
Yeah.
And his body heat went when he sat in a bucket of ice. His body heat went. It rose. And it's like, how? I don't understand. I do not understand.
It's like when one of the boys said his cocky grows in cold water. No, never.
No, you lying bastards.
But yeah, no, I think that'll be. So what did you say it's called? Ascension.
Ascension, yeah.
I can't wait for that. Like I haven't seen anything for him.
I don't want to watch it, man. I just love his magic. His magic's class. Do you see that one where he would drink a shit ton of water, and then he would drink a shit ton of petrol, and he would. In his stomach, the petrol would sit on top of the water, so he would then like regurgitate the petrol and blow fire, and then regurgitate water
to put it out,
and then put it out. And he's like controlling what comes up.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
The thing is, water would petrol would sit on top of water, right? Because it's more viscous.
Yeah. But then how would you then spit some petrol out and then spit some water out?
Not a clue. Do you know
and
what?
then spit petrol out again and then spit water out. That's what I don't get.
So this is what he was saying, that it's like his fundamental parts of learning magic was just basically putting people within that moment.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like making himself feel like a kid again. So he was saying like his first enjoyment come from just literally just doing tricks to his parents.
Fuck.
But then that's what they were talking about, is kind of like how it encapsulates and just like traps you in that moment, regardless of what you're thinking of. So he was like, they used like the term of like you got to feed the dog, but you're never going to think of that if someone's showing you a trick. And it is so true. Like I find magic fascinating. A lot of people There's
I don't
some,
ever want to know how shit is done. I'd
Nah.
like my mind's being blown.
There's also
I don't
some
wanna
like religious beliefs as well, that it's like a sign of the devil and stuff like that, that it shouldn't be happening. I just
Yeah.
think it's literally
It's
just a
raw.
mad talent. I think it's so fascinating. But like you said, yeah, I've never actually want to know the things behind it. Can you remember, right? There used to be a show back in the day, and he used to have this guy with like a metal, like a silver face, and he used to explain how magic tricks were done. Can you
No.
remember that? Oh, it used to be one of those like shows when like fucking, what was that called?
Type in metal face magic.
Old program.
There's so many different types of magic though in there. It's like, because Darren Brown is more of a, I was gonna say psycho, but that's not it. Darren Brown is like psychologist, isn't it?
That was it. Breaking the magician's code. Magic's biggest secrets revealed. But have you never ever seen this?
Don't think so.
It was this guy.
Let me see.
Wait, let me actually click into.
Yeah. No, my favorite I think is Darren Brown. I love that guy. He's so fucking good.
I do like him, to be fair.
He's so fucking good. Because he tells you then how it's done as well, and it's like his stuff is more like when he used to pour like those little marker things on the table. And he said he learned to calculate things really fast after pain.
Yeah.
So he brought someone up and he'd close his eyes. He'd slap him. He'd open his eyes for about 2 seconds, close his eyes again, and he'd tell you how many things are on the table. And it's like, how the fuck are you doing that? I recognise him. I do
mate, it used to be
recognise him.
so creepy. Like, so creepy.
I wonder who he is now. I wonder what he does now.
Fuck knows. But yeah, no, you are right about Darren Brown. I think the maddest one, right, that I remember seeing of Darren Brown, and I felt so rude on the woman. So it was like I remember it was like the older woman, and she was on a bus, and he'd basically been following her, and the bus like took this wrong journey, obviously like on purpose.
Yeah.
And all the lights went out. And mate, I'm not even joking. This woman's probably like 65-ish, 70. And all the lights have just gone completely off on this bus.
Yeah.
I felt so rude on her. I was like, she could just generally just like have a heart attack, like on spot, like.
Yeah, the guy. Yeah, I love him. I love him because it's not just the one day thing.
No.
Because he does it and everyone's mind is blown, and then he tells you. Then it's like, oh no, like. I knew this guy was going to choose the 8 of hearts because a week before he stayed in a hotel and I changed the door handles to the 8 of hearts and like his phone background was the 8 of hearts. And he got on the bus and he was the 8 of hearts.
Like, it's so mad, but that's like, it must be so crazy, like being able to do stuff like that. It's kind of like mind manipulation. It's like, but just understanding.
It's like, I'm going to tell you what I want you to say.
It's just literally putting something in your subconscious mind.
It's mad. It's so mad. It's class. I wonder who the very first guy who did that was and was like, holy shit, I can actually control people.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. Like, so like my missus was saying that she went to see him like with her school, and
Darren.
Yeah,
Bro.
and so one of her classmates basically got hypnotized like at the start of the show, and he was sat in his seat. And then he just woke up at the end of the thing, and he was like, what the fuck's happened? And everyone was like, what are you on about? Like, he's like, you've been put to hypnotise. He was like, what?
What?
And he just missed it. But then I would be like, I'm fuming.
Yeah,
like,
you've
literally gone, and then you've just been sat there the whole show just in some mad trance. But I was like, how does that actually
Surely
work?
he remembers it. Or they remember it. Do they not have a clue?
I don't know. I'll have to ask her. But I remember her saying...
That's not fair.
It's baffling, isn't it? Like, how
like, is it people paid?
There? Well, yeah.
And they've gone?
And then he just sat there. But then to be fair,
something's gone wrong there.
Yeah, he knew.
Something's gone wrong.
He knew what had happened.
Fucking hell.
The guy that was in that show was a guy called Val Valentino.
Victor
he is
Von
an American magician, and he starred in the series. He's 64 now.
Is that it?
Yes.
How old is the show?
This is on 1997. The show started.
How do you remember that? It would have been 3.
Yeah, I know. No, obviously I've seen highlights. I was 1, mate. I was 1 when it actually first aired. Get me, youngster. It's a madness.
Man is 1.
I just love the whole like the whole like not ethos behind like magic, but I just think it's fucking crazy.
It just, no matter how old you are, it'll just turn you into a kid instantly. You'll watch it and be like, holy fucking shit, that is amazing.
Yeah, but
That's
I don't
raw.
know if you watched the new Dynamo thing.
I tried to. I thought it was a bit dark.
Yeah, the thing is, right, I thought I liked how they did like the storytelling of it behind like, but then obviously it'd like cut to different places and then he would just do like one trick and then kind of just like disappear and then like that's obviously like the illusion.
Yeah.
It wasn't like an ongoing performance. I did actually really like the story part of it, but there was this one part, right, and I'll have to find the clip, but he was in like Leeds or something like this.
Yeah.
And he walks down like this alleyway and there's like 5 blokes and they're just obviously out on that piss and whatever. And he's like, oh mate, he's like, can I show you this trick? And then so obviously the 4 like other guys like step to the side. And the one guy stood there, right, he's probably like 10 yards in front of him and he just goes like that. He just goes like that and the guy goes,
what, he starts choking him?
Me.
What?
Mate, he starts going like this, and me and one of the boys I work with were talking about it, and we were just cracking up. And he stood literally probably like 10, 15 yards away from him. He's got his hands out, and
He's
he's
jumped
like,
the man.
Yeah, he's making like Bart Simpson like choking noises. He's like,
he's just jumped him, Gene, like down the alleyways.
But the best thing is about it, there's just the 4 mates just stood on the side, like, yeah, mate, you're just getting choked out by Dynamo, like not like. Didn't look phased or anything, so I was like, that's what like it really put it in my mind. I was like, what the hell is this?
He's just choked him out.
Like I've tried to find the clip on like YouTube and stuff. I'll have to find it.
That's
like,
bizarre.
it's fucking hilarious.
What's the trick? What does he do?
Nothing. It just shows
just
that
chokes
he
him.
can choke him by standing away from him. Yeah.
Oh, what? He's not touching him.
Oh no.
Oh.
No. That's what I mean. He's not close to him. Like he's literally probably here to.
Oh, that's probably what.
Me to you, but then he's like, and he just starts going.
I literally thought like he just walked up to an alleyway and just started choking him.
No.
Got him in headlock, just started choking him up.
No, it's not.
Jesus.
It's
yeah,
mad.
no, I. For me, the best trick Dynamo did, it still fucks me up now, is when he puts the phone in the bottle.
Yeah.
How does he put a phone in a bottle?
And when he chucks the ring off the side of the boat and it's on his shoelace.
Oh.
It's like, what? Like, the thing is, right, this is why I would like to see some of this stuff live. Because obviously, everyone knows you can do a madness with camera trickery and all this stuff. But, like, I do genuinely believe that it does happen. But then at the same time, like, how? Like, I think if you're a scientist, you could probably break it down a lot better.
There's no message at the start of a magic show that will stop people from being skeptical.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like they always come up like, oh, none of these are trained actors, you know, there's no camera tricks and nothing like that. And it's like it doesn't matter how many of those you put up in the episodes, they will always people be skeptical about it.
100%. It's always going to happen. But the thing is, it's always been part of the show. It's always been.
Yeah, you've got to say it, haven't you?
Yeah. I mean, it's always going to be something that not everyone's going to buy into, and everyone's just going to be like, yeah, but everyone just likes to have a negative side to it. Everyone's like, yeah, but it's fake. And it's like, mate, I've just watched him do it. Like, and if not, it's just talent. It's literally just purely down to talent. You've just kidded me that you've done that.
Yeah.
And I've got no explanation to say that you didn't. But it's mad.
Bro.
I think one of the last things that I wanted to say as well that I've seen as well this week is I think there's a law that's going through now at the minute for like social media apps and stuff that basically you have to basically put a disclaimer if the post has been like edited. So it's basically going to be like, so your captions are basically going to have to be, yeah, this photo is a catfish.
Makes it good then.
To
be honest. But then how do you determine what's a catfish and what's not?
So yeah, I think it's basically...
Because obviously if you've posted somebody completely different, then you're going to have to do it.
Yeah.
But then if you've posted something of yourself and edited it a little bit, like
how
much
is
too much?
Variance, like... Yeah. So I think obviously like mental health's been affected a lot by Instagrammers and influencers or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
So I think it's trying to tackle down on that.
Because they brought in that you had to say that it was an advert.
Yeah. Which makes sense.
Yeah,
as
it
well.
is. All of it makes sense. It's just why why is there a need to post a picture of somebody else or an edited photo of yourself
Yeah.
in the first place?
Yeah,
That's-
the thing is,
That's
right,
the problem.
I just think now, I think when social media was like first made, it kind of wasn't used to, like we said, like for advertising and like as a kind of like a business outlet. But now I think they're trying to bring in laws and kind of some structure to it. It seems that's what I kind of keep getting the impression from. It's kind of like it used to kind of all be up in the air. You can just kind of do what you want. Obviously, you've got terms and conditions and like guidelines. But yeah, that's what it seems like they're doing, or seems to be like they're trying to enforce now, which does make sense. But then I just think, how much more is it gonna get like tackled down on? But then I think, I don't know, I'm kind of in two minds. I think that you should just post organic like shit, and you shouldn't need to just feel like you need to fucking fully like face tune and fucking. It cracks me up when you always see the ones where it's like photoshopping gone wrong. Yeah. And it's like someone's like pinched in their waist, and honestly the door.
Yeah, it's like waved in like a.
The door frame. Oh mate, those ones always crack me up the most, when the door frame just looks wonky as.
Yeah, stuff like that's just stupid.
And then I remember seeing someone. I remember seeing like a caption, and they were just like, "Whoever built your house."
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like the caption was something like, "Oh, whoever built your house, you need to get a refund from."
Yeah, it's wonky.
And then everyone else, you just clocked that the fucking door frame was wonky as.
Got to clap.
Oh, it's class.
We're on 105.
Is it?
Yeah, yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, that seems like a good place to wrap up. What do you reckon?
Yes.
We always just go conversation and then just like, yeah, dead.
Yeah, that's it now.
Yeah, that's it. But anyway, we're happy to leave it there. Episode 6. Finito.
I mean, yeah, let us know if you want longer episodes, because we can keep talking.
Yeah,
it's not hard.
I could talk for 4 hours straight if you want me to.
So yeah, give us feedback. Let us know if you want longer ones, or if you think these ones are
ample time.
Yeah, or if you want short ones. Who knows? Yeah. Maybe just snippets.
Short, 20-minute, maybe 2 or 3 in a week.
Yeah, true. Yeah, if there's any changes and you want more or less or whatever, just let us know. We'll be doing, hopefully now with all this video, with the being able to video, we'll be able to sort of give you clips that you can watch and stuff. So it's, if you don't want to listen to the whole thing, we can just put stuff out on the stuff we talk about. So all that stuff will hopefully be coming soon anyway.
Get me. Anyway, it's an ingrowing. It's an ongoing progress.
Yeah.
This is episode 6. I've been Tom.
I've been Spud.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
Clap me, bitch.